Good evening, BCom students. This is your instructor, Tim Park, and we're going to talk about in this video your presentations. There's been some consternation, maybe some questions, and I've tried to explain it over and over again via email and whatever else. So I think we will start with a video to see if that helps. So download your syllabus, download the the class schedule that's here. You'll see that there are groups 1 through 8 on your presentation and your interview. We're just going to be talking about the presentation right now. So let's say you're in group 1. Here's what's going to happen. Group 1's going to get together and they're actually doing their presentation this week. So during this week, they have 2 chapters to choose from. They have chapter 14 or chapter 13 to choose from. Whatever chapters we are reading or learning about that week that you have your presentation, that's the week, those are the chapters you can choose from. Now, the only exception to that is when we have a test during the week that you are doing your group's doing a presentation. Then you can do any chapter that you want that you're studying for that week. So chapter or presentation team 2, group 2, can do their presentation over 1, 12, 13, or 14. Don't care. Now, you're going to have to get together in a group, but you do your presentation individually, not as a group, as an individual. So how's it going to be? Well, you're going to get together in a group and you're going to figure out who's going to do what portion. Remember, if you've read the chapter, there is an intro, there's a body, and there's a conclusion. What happens if we have 4 people? Well, let's say you do have 4 people. One person will do the intro, one person will do half of the body of the chapter, the other person will do half the body of the chapter, and the last person, the 4th person, will do the conclusion. But wait a minute, an intro is usually about 30 seconds to a minute. So if I'm doing the intro, how does that work? I want you to break up the chapter into pages. That makes some kind of logical sense. Let's say there's 20 pages in chapter 14, which is what group 1 decides they're going to do. Okay, so I'm doing the intro. I'm going to take the first 3 pages or so of that chapter. Then the second person will take the next 6 pages. The next person will take the next 6 pages. And the person that's doing the conclusion will do the last 3 pages. I think that's around 20. So, or maybe it's 2. Anyway, you get the idea. You're going to break up the chapter via pages so that you can better do your portion of the presentation. So the person that's doing the intro will have a 30-minute intro. Then they'll cover 3 or 4 of the main points of the chapter. Okay, then they'll say, and now for the second part of the presentation, here's Billy Bob. But they'll stop their presentation. After they've recorded it, they'll attach it to the presentation assignment that's for that week. So if you look at the assignments, there's a presentation assignment for group 1 this week. And you'll attach to that, but you'll also attach a PowerPoint. You have to understand what a PowerPoint is, how it works, because doing a video and doing a PowerPoint is something that is only going to be more prevalent moving down the road. So you have to understand how it works. So the PowerPoint, again, in a group, you're going to talk about the PowerPoint and you're going to come up with a PowerPoint that is the same background and animation and whatever else that for the whole group. You're going to have a set background and color and everything. So I don't get 4 different PowerPoints of all different types. So that's the only thing you're going to do in a group. Figure out what part of the chapter well, what chapter, what part of the chapter, and what the PowerPoints are going to look like. Then individually, you'll record your portion of the chapter. You will make your PowerPoints first. And as you're recording your portion of the chapter, you'll walk yourself through the PowerPoints and talk to the video camera like you're talking to me and doing a presentation. Now, I know I can't see your PowerPoints, but I will follow along the best I can as you're giving me your presentation that you've recorded. You might want to record your presentation and download it to YouTube, because then I get a link. It's always there. You can have maybe one of your friends look at it and give you some feedback before you give me your assignment. Downloading the YouTube gives it the ability for you to play around with a little bit and get some feedback before you send it in. So remember, you do your own part of the presentation. You don't have to do it as a group. Your own piece of the presentation is what your chapter is what you're going to turn in, along with the PowerPoints for your piece of that. Remember to give a handoff to the next person that's supposed to be doing the presentation next. And when you send me your presentation, tell me if there's 3 people in the group, name your presentation video with your last name and then what part in the presentation you're playing. So for the intro, it would be park and then the number 1. That way I know that I'm gonna look at that first because that's the number 1 piece. And then if it's Billy Bob, number 2, I know that's the second piece of the presentation and I'll watch that next. Does that make sense? Okay. So there's the video and the PowerPoint. And the reason you have to talk about it in a group is so you can figure out which piece of the chapter you're going to do. Remember, you're only doing one chapter and you're only doing a piece of the chapter. You don't have to do everything in the chapter. I don't want to have one person with 15 minutes of video. Don't do that. Just your videos between 3 and 4 minutes. If you go to 5, no big deal. Don't go less than 3. Make sure that you watch some key things, your ums and ahs, your you-knows. So if you do a lot of that, and you learn how to control that before you do your presentation. You need to have a PowerPoint. And what you'll do is you'll follow that PowerPoint while you're doing your presentation. That should make it easier for you to do. Also, if you want some notes on the side of your monitor to help you through your presentation, you can do that. You can put it actually right underneath your video camera. Or you can have notes along with your presentation, your PowerPoint, because when you do the presentation mode in PowerPoint, you can also have notes. And since I'm not seeing your PowerPoint, you can do it that way. But when you attach your PowerPoint, you'll be following along. So I think I've beaten that one to death, hopefully, and hopefully you understand what I'm looking for. If you have any more questions, you can, oh, there's another one. You can there was another one, dadgummit. You can send me an email and I might not get back to you on, yeah, I will. I'll try to be patient. But if you send me an email without seeing this video, and here's the magic word, abracadabra. That way I know you watched the whole video. So I'm going to ask you the magic word, and if you don't tell me the magic word, I'm not going to answer your email. Okay. So last thing. I already told you about putting notes on the screen or having notes with your PowerPoint. One of the most basic things that everybody messes up is this. Let's pretend that was a window. If I have a window behind me that's a huge light source, then you're not going to see my face. You're going to see the light, right? Or it's going to totally wash out my face. So there are 2 things you can do. You can turn towards the light. If that was a window, I had a laptop, I would turn everything towards the light so the light is in front of me, lighting my face up, and that really is the best way to do it because the outside light, warm, very inviting, is very good. Or you do what I do and have a desk lamp, but if you only have one desk lamp, see how my other side of my face is all in shadow. So you really need to have 2 desk lamps or a lamp right behind your monitor and your video camera or your laptop that shines on your face straight in, that lights up your face. So you see how much better that is versus this. Now, if I only had a tan, I wasn't such a white guy. Okay, so remember all of the things that I'll be looking for in your presentation as far as my critique of it is in the class on the left-hand side in Blackboard, of course. On the left-hand side, there is a presentation review sheet. You click on that and open it up, and you'll see exactly what I'll be looking for when you do your presentation. So I won't go into all that. Again, hopefully I've answered a lot of your questions. Sorry the video is so long. I tried to not make it 11 minutes. Remember, abracadabra is the right word if you're going to ask me any questions about your video, because if you don't give me that, I'm not going to answer them. Have a great evening, and I look forward to all your presentations. Bye.